Hi guys, black is here. And I got a little test for y'all. Well, here we go. Let me tell y'all what's going on. My 2007 Mercedes C350, I got it almost a year ago. It was this month, almost a year ago. And when I got it, it was 73,000 miles. I think I'm at 77,000 now. And here lately, the transmission, when you put it in drive, you know how it indicates, park, reverse, neutral, drive. When you put it in drive, drive won't light up and the transmission will slip like it's in neutral. But after a while, it will engage, right? And once it engages, the transmission shifts perfect. I mean, I can drive it around all day long. It shifts perfect once it actually engages drive. Well, I don't know what's wrong with the transmission. So I decided, you know what? It's got 73,000 miles, even though it's a 2007. The transmission fluid probably has never been changed before. So I decided I'm going to change transmission fluid. Now, I had said I was going to wait until about 80,000 miles. But now that I'm having problems, I think I'm going to go ahead and change it. I went to O'Reilly and I really didn't think they was going to have a transmission filter for that car, but they did. This is the filter. This is the little inlet. The filter sit like this in the pan and it sucks up fluid right here and it goes into the pump and it goes wherever it needs to go. If I had known the damn filter was this small, I would have changed the transmission fluid as soon as I got it. Anywho, let me tell you what's going on. I want to make 2 points here. One, I'm going to talk about Union City Mercedes dealership. I believe they are screwing people in prices. Now, when I first got the Mercedes, I went there. Well, first of all, I think I went to Buckhead. I think I called Buckhead first. In some kind of way, Buckhead wanted $100 for front Mercedes brake pads for that 2007 C350. And I went to Union City because it was a lot closer. And I was expecting to pay the same price, but they wanted $130 for the brake pads. So I'm like, and I asked the guy, are there two different types of brake pads? And he told me, no, the C350, they only sell one kind of brake pad. And they wanted $130. Well, anyway, I went to Buckhead. Because, I felt kind of embarrassed leaving the place because I didn't want the man to think that here this black guy is. Well, it was a black guy anyway. Cute black guy, too. I ain't seen him since. Anyway, I didn't want him to think, a black man with a Mercedes can't afford to buy brake pads. But I'm just not going to pay $30 when I can drive, I don't know, about 20 miles and get them for $30 less. Anyway, so I'm thinking that there may be something going on in Union City where they are jacking the prices up on Mercedes parts. Well, Saturday, after I left O'Reilly, after picking this up, it also came with a gasket. I went to Union City Mercedes and I was going to buy, I've heard that the transfer case uses a different oil than the transmission. At least that's what I heard. And I bought a quart of transfer case oil. The funny thing is this, it's got a bunch of writing on the front of it. And it says something in German, I guess, but it says ATF. And below that, it says automatic transmission fluid, ATF. Below that is like a bunch of different languages, but they all say ATF. Well, this transmission fluid, they say transfer case oil was $49. $49. So I'm like, oh well. And I think he said the price of transmission fluid was like $35 per quart. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not spending $35 for transmission fluid when I can go somewhere else and get Valvoline ATF. This is at Walmart for $10. It was like almost $10. Now you probably say, well, Black, you need to put Mercedes transmission fluid in your Mercedes transmission. And I say, hear me out. In 2000, I don't know when the Charger came out. Whenever the Charger came out, I remember reading that they came with two V6s and a Hemi V8. If you got the V6, it will come with a 4-speed automatic Chrysler transmission. If you bought the Hemi, it will come with a 5-speed Mercedes transmission. You know, Charger, I don't know, y'all may have forgotten this, but Charger, 300s, Magnum, Challenger is built off a Mercedes E-Class chassis. I think it's an old Mercedes E-Class chassis, but it's a Mercedes E-Class chassis. Well, if they use a Mercedes transmission, and when you go get, now if you Google 2007 Charger RT and say what kind of transmission fluid, it will say AT +4. Now you Google Mercedes 2007 C350 transmission, car, it'll say Mercedes. Also, when I Google what kind of transmission comes in a 2007 Charger, and it said, you know, it mentioned that it was, well, actually it just said it was a 5-speed automatic transmission, but if you keep reading, it'll say Mercedes, right? But again, it says ATF +4. I kept reading, it said something about a 5WA 580. I might have got the numbers wrong, right? But basically it said a 580 something, right? And then when I Googled 2007 C350 4MATIC, you have to say 4MATIC, because I think if it's not a 4MATIC, I think it may be a 5-speed, a 7-speed. But if it's a 4MATIC, I think it's a 5-speed. Well, anyway, it talked about, it eventually said the same numbers, 5WA or whatever, 580. So basically, also it said Nag1. So the same transmission. And I knew back when they first came out, there was the same transmission. I knew that. The point I'm making is this: why the hell am I going to spend $35 for Mercedes transmission fluid when this is $10 and it's supposed to be the same? Now, I was telling this to a fan of mine, and he mentioned that maybe Dodge put different kind of seals or whatever in there, and that's the reason why. And I don't think so. It crossed my mind. It really did cross my mind. I don't think so. Now, I'm getting ready to do one of my unscientific tests, and I'm quite sure there's going to be some difference between this and this, because I've already opened this up and smelt it, and it stank. It stank. It smells. You get the odor of transmission fluid, but it's more complex. You know, it's more complex. Now, I haven't opened this up because I already know what this smells like. Well, actually, I've never bought ATF +4. But I'm assuming it's going to smell like transmission fluid. But I'm going to be surprised if it smells like that. I don't think it will, but I won't be surprised if it do. Let's see. Nope. This has it smells like, actually, this smells more complex than that. To be honest with you, that I am surprised, but it smells like transmission fluid. But let's see what it pours like. Well, it's red. It's red. Still smells like transmission fluid. Let's see what this smells like. It says it red. Now, this is supposed to be transfer case. This is what they gave me and said it was transfer case oil, but it says, like I said, transmission fluid. So let's pour it out, see what Oh, damn. Oh, damn. It's a completely different color. But again, why does it say ATF? Automatic transmission fluid. Why does it say that? Now on the back it says something about Mercedes-Benz AG D-70546 Stuttgart, Germany. Phone number. Damn, Mercedes got a funny looking phone number. It's like a phone symbol, and then it's +4971171-0. But damn. So there's definitely a difference. And this seems thicker. Now I'm not gonna put this in the transmission. I mean, this goes in. It's supposed to go in the transfer case. Supposed to, and it is. I mean, it's obvious difference. But I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of you guys don't know. Transmission fluid is oil. It's just thinner and red. In some cases, you know, I heard that some transmission use blue transmission fluid. It seems like I heard somebody say that. But what I'm getting at is this. The reason it was originally red was so you could recognize it from oil, which makes sense. Now, I'm not saying transmission fluid is the same as oil. I'm saying it's like oil. It's an oil. But people call it transmission fluid. And, you know, there's another video where I had bought some damn CVT transmission fluid, and it looked like oil. It looked like oil, but it smelled like transmission fluid. Now this, like I said, it smells like oil and medicine. I mean, really, it smells like, well, it smells like oil, transmission fluid, and medicine. This stinks. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to put this in the transfer case, and I'm going to put this in the transmission. If the transmission messes up, whatever. Now, like I said, I should have bought 1 quart of transmission fluid. I wasn't going to spend $35 because I got a feeling that Union City dealership is screwing people around on prices. I'll let y'all know if I find out. But that's all I got to say on the subject. If you have any questions, comments, leave them. Dre, y'all have a good day.